Hello and welcome to the first episode of the ESCAPUZZLED Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things escape rooms, immersive experience, virtual and tabletop escapes. My name is Corey and with me is my puzzle partner in crime, Helena. How are we doing today, Helena?
Oh, nice to hear you. You sound amazing.
Thank
I'm
you
very
very
well,
much.
thank you.
Good,
Are we ready
excellent.
to go?
I believe so. I think we are. So the basic premise of this first episode is just to get to know us, as both players and creatives, and yeah, just to get to know more about each other as well, I guess. I'll just go through a quick who I am, and then I'll pass it over to you, and then we'll take it from there. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. Let's go.
Perfect. So my name is Corey. I am 27, and I am a parkour coach by day and a video game content creator / streamer by night. But my main passions lie within magic, more so the creative side and consulting side of magic, and obviously escape rooms. And yeah, I got into escape rooms a little while ago. Obviously, as a kid, I played things like Cluedo and video games like Portal and The Room. And it sort of developed from there. I've always been a big fan of anything puzzle related. Then one year for my friend's birthday, we decided to go to escape room, give it a blast, and I was hooked almost immediately. Absolutely loved the room. Didn't have the money to do more back then, so it sort of died off. And then very recently, I got very much back into escape rooms, and I think over the past few months alone, I've done about 20 escape rooms. So it's definitely become a much bigger thing. And yeah, it's collided with my passion for magic, and hopefully it's going to blossom from there.
That's so lovely to hear. I'm Helena. I'm actually a media manager for a kitchen company. We do all sorts. So I do all the graphical content to do with toasters, ovens, and smoothie makers, anything like that. If you've seen it, it's probably mine. You're welcome. My origin story into escape rooms. So I actually left a really, really lovely job and I ran escape rooms. So for the last 7 years, I've worked in an escape room. I absolutely loved it. It was fully my soul. And the last 4 years, I became a general manager. That also included building, consulting, and also just creating my own games. So I've got 2 games that are out in the world that came out of my brain, and I fully built them, and I'm so incredibly proud of what I did. The other 3, I just picked up and maintained and made sure that it had every bit of love that you possibly could. I love escape rooms because I feel like they're all owned by really small business, and it's all small business, and they're all a bunch of nerds. I've done probably over 100 games by now. I'm a massive puzzle nerd. It's came from a childhood of the very similar to Corey of Cluedo and puzzles and making Lego, and really fostered this pure acquisitive life of my own. And even now, I don't even work directly in escape rooms, but they can't get rid of me. I'll find a
I
way.
feel like everybody in the escape room business, or for the most part, comes from that sort of video gamey, nerdy, tabletop-esque kind of background.
100%.
Or almost everyone.
We had like a running joke as if your game operator had madly coloured hair that you knew it was going to be a good escape room. And I
Probably
had bright
true.
pink hair for about 5 years.
I mean, there you go. That answers that.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, everybody with that sort
One's
of
blue.
past and enjoyment has crazy.
Yeah.
I also had pink hair for a while.
You had pink hair.
Yeah, so maybe that is a running thing in escape rooms. Who knows? We'll find out as we talk to more people in escape rooms about their wonderfully coloured hair. I have listened to some other podcasts where they've mentioned they also have very brightly coloured hair. So it sounds like it's a running theme throughout, no matter where you are in the world.
Totally a thing.
It is a legal requirement when you sign up to work for an escape room is to dye your hair and create a wonderful colours.
I was so normal before I started to work in escape rooms.
I'm
No, I
definitely
wasn't.
putting
I was
normal in
hiding like
brackets.
crazy.
Yeah, 100%. Normal as normal gets. Yeah, sure.
I was very good goth and masking.
That is fair.
Yeah, totally. And then I had such an incredible boss that I probably could have turned up with a face full of tattoos and he would have been like, that's nice.
I mean, it's definitely a different business to the likes of being a lawyer and having to have your sleeves rolled down and tattoos covered and all of that boring
Absolutely.
corporate
Yeah,
stuff.
totally. Sold my
So,
soul, now corporate babe.
yep, turn to the dark side. Let's see how it is. Let's see
Turn
how
to
it
the
is.
dark side. Turn to the dark wage.
We'll see how long that lasts.
I know.
Try and drag you back into the light.
I'm still really creative though. I haven't lost that bit
Yeah,
of
it's still an incredibly creative job. Like it's not like you've
yeah.
gone to something totally different. You're just using that creative avenue in a different
Yeah.
way
And
instead
I've
of
compared to a lot of people that I'm working with, I've got a completely different skill set. And it's kind of like it's all built from escape rooms. Like that's a job that made me who I am.
oh,
Um
it definitely has a multitude of transferable skills. Surprisingly, locking somebody in a room sets you up for life
yeah,
pretty well.
it absolutely does. I just really enjoyed locking people in rooms. Maybe it was just like what is it called?
Weird.
Like a superiority complex. That's why.
I was gonna say kink, and then I realized
Oh.
maybe reel that in. Get a little bit wild on episode 1 of the podcast.
Episode 1, guys. You're welcome.
I mean, in all fairness, this is definitely telling people about what we're like, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you'll get a nose pretty quickly.
Yep. Apparently way quicker than we anticipated. Let's get ourselves back on track. ESCAPUZZLED, for the most part, is a review site or blog where I've sort of... I mean, everybody in the escape room industry, every escape room enthusiast especially, has a sheet, a spreadsheet of all of the rooms that they've done, and some of them have got ratings and things like that. So I more just wanted to have somewhere that I could document my own thoughts and opinions, but could also help other people make sort of educated decisions on where they're also spending their hard-earned money. Because I feel like some rooms are super enjoyable, but there might be an instance of the staff not being very nice, or vice versa. So it's more just giving a nice, accurate representation, so people know where to put their time and their money and effort, and to hopefully sort of lift the British escape room industry on a little bit of a pedestal and highlight it for how wonderful it is, because we have some fantastic escape rooms, and there's not a lot of media structure for escape rooms in the UK. There's a lot of podcasts for America and places like that, but not for the UK. So hopefully we can help push the escape room industry forward.
Oh, okay. So escape room player profile.
Yeah, so this is something I just threw together just so that people could get to know us on a significantly more niche escape room basis. Obviously, what we said thus far gives a little bit of a background as to who we are as people, but not really what we're like in escape rooms, which I feel like you can tell a person indefinitely by who they are and how they are in escape rooms. So I thought this would be interesting to sort of put together and
Yeah.
to go through for escape rooms. One of the first blogs that I put up on the website was player types and player profiles. So it's things like the organizer, the overthinker, the leader, the puzzle nerd, the scaredy cat, the explorer, a multitude of different types of people that you tend to find in escape rooms who are all doing their own individual things.
I'm
So
100% a troublemaker.
you out here breaking things or touching things that you shouldn't
Oh,
inquisitively.
oh, yeah, and it's like that looks like something could come apart in that, and it's like, no, babe, that's a candle.
Definitely shouldn't come apart. It's glued down for a reason.
Yep, that's got red tape on it. But look at it.
Sticking forks
Look,
into
look at
electrical
that.
sockets, because there's definitely an electricity puzzle in this room.
Like a window every now and again, you know.
Yeah, of course. Those taste puzzles.
Taste puzzle. Oh, I've done a taste puzzle before.
I have as
Oh,
well,
man.
with jelly
I
beans,
hated it.
and
Mine was
it
also
was
jelly beans, but they were not
oh
fresh.
oh oh, that's gross. No, these jelly beans
Mm.
were very nice. So I'm not saying why, because it kind of spoiled it, but it was a very good escape room, and the jelly beans were very welcomed. And I occasionally, when the rest of the team was doing other puzzles later in the room, in a different room, I would go back and eat some more of the jelly beans because they were that good.
You're just gonna finish
Um,
some more jelly beans.
I just
I
like
didn't
a
know we were
little.
talking about the same game.
little scavenger mouse going back through and eating the jelly beans whilst everybody's solving the puzzles, whilst we're frantically playing for time, and I'm there just scuffing my face.
Having a
But
good snack.
it is what it is. I am somewhere between an organizer and an overthinker. So I like to help the person resetting the room by placing all the locks and the keys
To
in
be
the same
fair, I do
place.
that as well.
Just because
I put my keys
we
on
know what it's
where I
like
pick them
to
up.
have to reset rooms. It's a pain in the backside when you're looking for a key or you're looking for a lock that is in the third room when it actually came from the first room. It is incredibly frustrating. So I always try and tidy things as we go along. So even when I've
The
unlocked
amount.
something, I'll then put the lock back through the lock hole.
Oh,
Just to
you're an
keep things
absolute
street.
dream. That's what you
I
are.
know. Imagine if everybody was like this. This
That would be
escape
great.
rooms would
The amount of
operate so much
games I've had to
faster.
call. Yeah, I've had to ring them and go, have you just taken a bolt home? And I know that it might just be a bolt, and I've definitely got a pack of like 24 in my cupboard, but I can't find it, and I don't want a game to find it in the next one. Can you bring it back?
Yeah,
Or like they've taken
the
a
ceiling is
key that
falling
we've only
down.
got
We
one
need that bolt.
copy. Yeah, sorry, we needed that one that you've got in your pocket. Or
Just
they'll be like,
souvenirs.
yeah, people will put stuff on their wrists. They'll walk out with. So we've got a suit jacket in a couple of our games, and they just like walk out with lab coats and jackets on, and be like, "I'm really sorry, but that's
Could
actually
we
ours."
get that back? You didn't come in here wearing a lab coat, surprisingly, so please
I'll
don't
take
leave
you
with
on
it.
that. Our
So yeah,
goggles, our keys around their necks.
I
So
try
funny.
and organize as best I can in that sense, but also in the sense of like this is what we've used. Hopefully, we won't need it again. Some games it has
Yeah.
completely thrown us off. My goodness, but I'm also very much an overthinker. I'll come back to this later on in the player profile because there's a weaknesses and escape room nightmare moment, and this is very much me. I overthink the most basic of things and just assume that everything's going to be on like Enigma code level. And normally it's what
Yeah.
to do, to add to. And yeah, I'm like, we've got to divide this. Like, there has to be a square root in here. Like, what if the puzzle happens to be Morse code, but instead of sound, it's light? Like, always overcomplicating things, which is not
Had a
optimal for
couple.
going through rooms.
Do you know when you? Do you know when you just like put a hasp on a drawer and it's got like screw holes?
Yes.
I've had so games occasionally will change how they're structured, or they'll change sort of what drawer stuff's locked away in, or even if you've like fully redesigned a room but you've pulled furniture from the older room to like I did it with a couple of Christmas games. They were only temporary, just used the already existing furniture and moved it about. The amount of players that have like counted the screw holes on furniture and I've gone,
My goodness.
wow.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing
Fully
I'd
down a
do.
hole here.
They just get like hyper fixated on something that's not necessary at all. Or alternatively, I'll carry an item around the entire escape room swearing that it will be used at some point, and turns out we don't need whatever I'm carrying. Normally it's cute
I've
things like
done
teddy
that.
bears or like just random bits of
What did I
random
do?
objects.
Oh, they were acorns, and I was like completely convinced these acorns would be played somewhere. And like
Definitely.
they were probably some of the first things in the first room that we played, and it was just I was wandering about with some acorns in my hand, and I
You
was
know,
like,
that very,
Jane, so,
very commonly used item in escape rooms that will
yeah,
definitely be
of
needed further
course,
down the line.
yeah. So
Obviously.
I am somebody who I play escape rooms with a lot called Jane, and I just turned around. I was like, "We're definitely going to use these somewhere," and she just like put them down.
I am keeping my
Don't need them.
acorns.
I think I
We
walked
are
out the game with
hibernating for
them.
winter. My goodness. Next up on the player profile is favorite themes, and I'm going to kick this off just by saying horror as a general is. I know that's a very broad theme because it incorporates a multitude of different things, but anything scary, absolutely love anything scary. Predominantly paranormal stuff. I enjoy a lot more. I don't know why. I don't particularly believe in the paranormal, but I do like magicy things, and often there's a blend between. Um, Magic and paranormal in escape rooms because there's a lot of magic techniques used to create the illusion of the paranormal. So anything scary, because I feel like fear is one of those things that you can't really you can't beat fear as a feeling, I don't think. Obviously, feeling joy or feeling elated is fantastic, but I don't feel like it's as strong an emotion as fear is. So if you can create a real sense of fear in an enclosed, sort of controlled environment, then you're doing something right.
I totally agree. I absolutely love a ghost game because of the magic element. And I love, so part of my job, there's been little bits of magic sprinkled in here and there. My old boss used to call him the magic captain. He's an illusionist. He's also a magician. He's absolutely brilliant. But I watched a lot of his so he does like a seance, a recreation of a seance. So I watched a lot of the back end of that when he was up in Edinburgh doing the Fringe, and I was just like, "Oh, that's really fun! I love that." But now I can't watch magic anymore because I just pull it apart. Same with escape rooms. I'm always like, "Oh, I've also got that Bible." Oh, that's a fake clock.
Yeah, I feel like
we are all buying the same stuff.
That is very much like we went into a room recently, and there was a clue that alluded to the next item that we needed to find being a book. And there was a massive shelf full of books, and my friends who were in the room were like, which book is it? And I was like, it's probably going to be a dictionary or a Bible, and it's not going to look like a book. I didn't name the room. There's plenty of rooms with books.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, it is a Bible or a dictionary, and it looks nothing like a Bible or a dictionary, sticking out like a sore thumb on the shelf.
But the amount of people that just don't see them because they'll sort of like it'll just blend in with. If there's so many books on that shelf, you're not going to look individually unless you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which when you start to do escape rooms, you start to look for these, what I would call it, game flags of, that's going to move, that's got hinges, that's, that looks like it's got a magnet on it, that looks like it's out of place compared to the rest of these books.
I wonder if this bookcase with the scratches on the floor underneath it is going to open.
I don't know what you mean. What escape room is that?
Like every escape room ever.
Every escape room. Oh, and I think because I'm constantly thinking of fun ways for a door to open. I know that's really weird. Like you do that when you're building escape rooms and designing escape rooms. My brain thinks about how this door could open strangely, and so it does really blend in. And there's like hiding them in bookshelves, hiding them in brickwork, which I find really easy to do, and it looks amazing.
It looks
and when the whole wall just moves out the way, and you're like, oh. That's amazing. Like, I didn't expect that. I absolutely love stuff like that.
Love any very heavily textured escape room doors that just blend in with the remaining like walls, like brickwork or wood paneling or anything like that. That's just seamless. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I'll tell you where it's done really well. So there's in Wetherby on a roundabout. It's called Can You Escape with a K. They've got the I can't remember the name of the game off the top of my head, but they've got some really incredible games, and you're essentially following this archaeologist through multiple games. And I really love the games. And there's one that's like all wood paneling, and you would never expect anything to open, anything on the walls to move, and all of a sudden the walls start moving, and you're like, oh my goodness!
Love that.
It's not quite a spoiler. You kind of expect you're not going to be stuck in one room when you do escape rooms, but. Yeah, like Can You Escape in Wetherby? I cannot recommend them enough. Like, it's run by 2 retired men that just love escape rooms. Oh, it's so lovely. We sat and had a brew with them. I think we ended up doing all 3 of their games in a day, just because I booked one, and then when you get out of one game and you've got that full adrenaline, you're like,
immediately we'll just go to another one.
Games.
My first escape room experience, I took my brother on. We did one room and we came out of it, and he was immediately like, should we just do the other ones while we're here? I was like, okay, there's 3 more, but sure. So we played 4 games back to back, and he was like buzzing the entire way through. Absolutely loved them.
Most escape rooms, as soon as you finish one, you're like, well, I want to know the rest of the story. And I love games that all link.
Yeah.
And all of the games follow like a single character, or a generational thing, or in this one you met this person's mother, in this one you met their son. Like,
that's
I
really
really
cool.
enjoy games that have a link between them all. Project Escape in Wigan does it really well. It's all sort of mythical Greek themed games, but every single one it like takes you down a whole different. So there's a labyrinth, there's a minotaur room, and it's like they all link slightly, even if it's by color, by sound, by what's on their walls. Just really good games.
That sounds like a company that's thought their things through well, and it's not
Oh,
just
absolutely.
slap as many locks in here as we physically can, which is always lovely to see. It's lovely when the games are very well thought through and obviously expand into the further universe of their escape rooms, which is very nice.
Yeah, love it. And you can really see how much effort's gone behind game writing as well. And I understand how much effort goes behind any game writing, but to write a series essentially instead of just a game, that's what you've done. You've written a series and you've
Yeah,
written a
it's a
whole story
totally
of
different
these
ball game.
people and what they're doing. Yeah, it's just
Let's just write
really
4 novels and then turn them into actual physical rooms that people can explore.
absolutely. Well, think about like the Saw escape experience.
Yeah,
That's a story that they've put into an escape room. I didn't write it myself because it's in London. Well, not in London,
yeah, a little bit
but
away.
yeah, it's just I don't know, 5-6
Just
hours.
5-6 hours.
Yeah, it's just a pop, a bit of pop. Okay, so
What is your favorite theme?
um,
Sir, I don't think we got
ah,
sidetracked
no,
entirely.
yeah, we fully did. So I've already kind of explained. I love a story. I love a really well-based story where you can see it in the game. Where I think some games you can kind of go in and be like, "Oh, there's this person and they're a bad person, and you've got to get out before this bad person arrives." That's yeah, great. That's an escape room, but I love it. Do you know?
Yeah, no, no,
But
no.
I
I
love
think
it when
most
there's
enthusiasts feel the same way.
yeah, when you can feel that person that obviously this game writer just created in their head and they've decided actually I think that's why I really enjoy writing Christmas games. That's where I love writing is for Christmas. I love magic. I love creating this idea. So one of my games is you were people that were breaking into Santa's grotto and you were stealing all the presents out of Santa's grotto.
Oh,
So it was a bit,
that's so
yeah,
cool.
but it was like you had that risk of being stuck on the naughty list forever. I was just like,
No,
that's so
that is
sweet.
a risk that I'm not sure I'm willing
That
to
is such
take.
a risk. But like to step into that room, which at one point was a completely different game, to step in and then you're all of a sudden you're in Christmas. You feel like there's music,
Smells like
there's texture,
Christmas,
there's
sounds like
sound,
Christmas, feels like Christmas.
smells like Christmas. I think
Love
you
it.
might have played one of my Christmas games. Would that
I
be
have.
right? Did you
And
play my last
that was
one?
the first thing I noticed when I walked into the room was the
Does it
smell.
smell like
And I was like,
Christmas?
my
Yeah.
goodness, this smells like gingerbread and cinnamon
Yeah.
and warmth. And it's just like a big Christmassy hug when you enter the room.
Yeah, a game that really makes you feel like you're in the game, and it takes you away from. Most games are on like a shop front in the middle of
Yeah.
city centres. They're in industrial estates. It just completely transforms you to somewhere else. Like I think Lily of Lumley does that really well at Lumley Castle.
Yeah. I think
It
because of
transports you.
the use of the natural architecture as well. You're not like
Yeah.
a lot of, for example, this is obviously based in a castle. For example, a lot of other places that are replicating castles will use like foam walls to make the stones, and it doesn't have that same like cold, damp feel that a real castle
The
does.
smell. It
Yeah, it
smells like damp. It feels
doesn't
like
smell like
ghosts.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's beautiful when people go above and beyond to make the smells, the textures, the sensations. Like you want an escape room that plays on all of your senses as opposed to just being like a puzzle in a box that's decorated
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Which is
We
I love a puzzle in a box. That's absolutely fine by me. I will
Yeah, of
play it.
course.
I will smash it. But if there's just like little things that you've really thought about and really cared about,
Yeah,
I
that's
see it.
what sets them apart beautifully.
Yeah.
We are hilariously going back to the storefront and obviously immersiveness. We were playing a game recently in a cave environment. We were told we'd gone underground. You'll know this game. You go into an elevator, you go underground into a cave system.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and about 20 minutes into the escape room, we heard police sirens from outside of the room. Which hilariously, like 200 foot underground, you shouldn't be hearing. But there's not really much you can do about that when you have a room in the
Your
city centre. So
city centre, yeah.
yeah, it was rather funny. It took us out of the immersion a little bit, but we got a real giggle out of it and continued straight back into the immersiveness of the room
Oh
because it
no,
is a
I'm not
phenomenal room.
rescuing.
Yeah, no, we're like, oh no, we're stuck. We should have called the police anyway. Like they're here. Can we not just get them in here to help save said person? On the same topic of theming, I'm gonna go the complete flip side and ask what your
Ooh.
least favorite theme is.
Well, I really can't stand a game that's designed for you to fail.
Yeah,
So
like rooms
why make that?
flexing a 20% success rate is
Yeah,
absolute madness.
that's not a good game. I'm really sorry, but a game that's impossible to finish. Why do it? why why make it? You're doing an escape room to get out to enjoy that experience.
Yeah, you want to be as close
Um,
to that 60-minute mark as possible. You don't want to be like,
yeah,
wow, I need 90 minutes to do this 60-minute room.
yeah, exactly. And I almost booked myself in for one of those games not too long ago, and I played a different game they were doing anyway. And after I've played that game, and I was like, oh, that's actually like it was a murder mystery game. Really, I like them, don't love them. Still played it. And they were like, "Oh, you've got to come back and play our impossible game." And I was like, "No,
Nope. Thanks for
there's
the
no
offer,
because I
but
don't
no.
think, yeah, there's no story to that, is there? There's no.
Yeah, it's just we've thrown
It's
in
just
all the things that
hard,
we can't solve for you to try and solve in significantly
which
less
then,
time than we probably did.
yeah, they can probably solve everything in there because they've built it
Yeah,
and
it's
they understand
madness.
it.
It should be
Yeah,
enjoyable. It should be a fun experience for all, not see if you can outsmart us kind of
yeah. You
situation.
try and outsmart the general public. Go on then.
Yeah, weird flex, but I guess it is what it is.
What's your least favorite theme?
This might take you by surprise because of my background, but it's purely because I feel like it's overdone, and I'm gonna sound really bad for saying this, but
Oh, I already know. Go on.
wizarding, like wizardry
Yeah,
kind of games.
yeah,
There are some absolutely sensational ones out there. I've played two or three that are absolutely phenomenal. But for the most part, all of the other ones that I've done just sort of blend into one and they're all very same. I
yeah.
feel like that sort of theme has been well and truly used. So unless an escape room's doing something different with that genre, it tends to sort of drop to the back of my mind and it's just sort of in the escape room pool.
Yeah,
Same with
exactly the same.
same with pirates. Although I
I
think
thought,
I think pirates has a bigger scope. I just don't think people are
yeah,
exploring outside of the ship. Um,
I
like
think,
every
yeah,
pirate room ever is inside of the ship. Whereas like
inside
I
of the
want to be on
ship.
an island or I want to be in a
Yeah,
cave. I want there to
yeah.
be other cool piratey things.
I want to be
That
finding that treasure rather than it just being
yeah,
on the ship with
exactly.
me.
Rather
Yeah,
than being stuck on a ship. Like
yeah,
I'm
I
getting
totally get
seasick.
that.
Let me off.
Yeah. But you can do like an island so easily. And when I'm thinking about like game design and stuff, there's no reason for you not to make a whole wall half of a ship. And that can be a part of that game, brilliant. But you're off the ship, you're on the island, you're messing in sand, you're looking at things around this island. Like, a lot of fun game made me think about building.
Hmm. Grab your Hoover because
Oh,
that one's gonna be a fun reset.
do you know what?
Sand
I put fake
everywhere.
snow into a game. I feel like it would be exactly the same.
Yeah, like
You'll be
I had
finding
this.
it in like June, furious.
I was discussing a room concept idea with a friend the other day, and I was like, and then we'd have sand in this room. And then I immediately thought, yeah, but if somebody drops
No.
a key or a lock or literally anything, you're going to have to go into the room with a metal detector just to find your props to reset the room every time, which is
Do a big magnet, it'll be all good.
everything just sucks to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Sorted. Where's that key? Ah, there it is on the ceiling.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean that would work. I'm not sure the
That would work.
practicalities of a room-sized ceiling magnet, but yeah, we'll see.
I mean, we always dreamt about a game that would reset itself, because the most time-consuming thing is for running a game and as a game operator is resetting a game.
Yeah, 100%.
And we all kind of like dreamed of the day where we could press one button and everything would like back to where it is.
There are a few rooms in America. I've heard a podcast a while ago talking about them, saying that all of their puzzles are self-resetting. Like they have reels and magnets and all sorts of stuff, and it just puts itself back in place, which is so cool.
I just think about like the string. And have you ever played? That's so rad. Have you ever played that 10-pin bowling when?
Oh, with the strings attached to it, and it drags them all back
they've
up.
They've all got strings. Yeah. I just think of that.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I don't like the look of that. It doesn't feel like 10-pin bowling at that point. It's weird. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't know. It gives me a bit of an ick. I quite like seeing the pins fly down the back when I've sent the bowling ball down there at 100 miles an hour. Almost a reward. I don't want the pin to just be dangling there on its little noose. Like, okay, a little bit of a weird one next. Okay. Sorry. Little bit of a weird one next. That I think if you asked anybody else this question, they'd be like, "What are you talking about, you weirdo?" Yeah. But what is your favorite type of lock?
Can I have two?
Wow. Okay, that's just greedy. But yeah, sure.
So sorry. So I love a directional lock. RIP Master Directional Locks.
I feel like directional locks are sort of the Marmite of the lock world. Yeah. Some people love them and some people hate them.
Love them. I love them. I love a directional puzzle. Like, I love an unusual way to do a directional puzzle. I like writing a directional puzzle. I like doing directional puzzles. I'm fully a directional lock. Yes, happy with that.
You know what I like so much about directional locks? The inner workings. I still don't understand how it works. I've looked into them so many times and I still don't get it. But they're very, very cool.
So
very
you
clever.
Have up to like a 32-digit movement.
That's absurd.
To lock in. I know, absolutely. Like, nobody would actually make a puzzle that long because you just lose track of what direction and when you've done it.
That impossible room probably has one.
Yeah, probably. But, like, I think if you max your movements out at 10, I think that 10's still a lot of movements to put in a directional lock.
I think most you're looking at like what?
They're absolutely brilliant.
5 or 6 for most puzzles.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I think anything less than 5 you can guess it pretty easily. Anything more than 6 you can start to lose track. But I love a directional lock, but also you're not ready for this one.
Uh-oh.
Maybe you are. Maybe you know exactly what I'm going to say. I love a cryptex.
Oh my goodness, that was my answer. I also love a cryptex. Yeah, that is my favourite, just because of how absolutely stunning they are.
They're so pretty. By the way, you can just buy them on Amazon. By the way,
I've got an Amazon wish list of just like escape room stuff. Of just like
buy yourself a cryptex.
Padlocks and bolts and all sorts of things. Because I want to turn a room in my house into an escape room for friends and family to play at some point. So. Yeah, that's a totally different conversation.
I like build boxes that are like escape rooms in boxes. Like my husband does it as well. He's so good. Every now and again, he'll just like potter his way up from the garage and just be like, "I've got a box for you," and I'm like, "Oh,
I have a box."
And it's like
that part from Pirates of the Caribbean where I've got a jar of dirt. I've got a box of puzzles.
No, and I love it. Like, and he always gets so excited when I'm trying to solve all these puzzles that he's created for me, and I'm like, "Oh, that's adorable. Fun!" And that does that, and this, and I can't move this until I've done this bit, and very fun.
I mean, on the same topic but slightly different. I absolutely love like furniture and boxes and things like that that have like secret compartments or things that you move and you put like a piece of it inside of
Oh,
it
leave
and
the desk.
then like you spin it and oh my goodness, anything like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
love it.
there's a desk going round. I think it's like on a regular or a TikTok, and you've got to use a wand to press on this certain bit, and then something
Another one.
opens. Then you can press a button inside, and then on the other side there's like a lion's head, and you turn the lion's head and it opens a drawer. Like, oh my gosh, what an absolute dream of a
The
desk! But I
guy has
hate
a
it.
full YouTube channel where he just builds
Oh,
like desks and stuff like that. I'll send you the link across if I can find out who it is, and I'll put it in the show notes as well because they're very cool. But he's got like Harry Potter
he
themed
builds
ones, pirate
puzzle.
themed ones.
Yeah,
There's all sorts, and they're
yeah.
sensational.
Every now and
Goodness knows how
again,
much they
he'll
cost.
like a
But next up is your least
really
favorite type of puzzle. So the flip side to the favorite lock slash puzzle is your least
yeah,
favorite type of puzzle.
jigsaw.
Jigsaws? What?
A
I
jigsaw.
love it. I love a jigsaw. Maybe not in an
Do
escape
you?
room, but I do love a jigsaw in
Outside
general.
of an escape room. I think a lot of other people that build rooms and design games, like I think one jigsaw is fine, but when it's like a repeated puzzle, can't stand it. Get really bored of it. But there's also a couple of games that like it has before you do anything, you've got to do this jigsaw, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do it. Like I'll do
Great.
it. It's fine. But I think there's just a lot better puzzles. What's
That's
yours?
fair enough. I mean, I do love a jigsaw, to be fair. There's just something about slotting in that last piece that just gives me a sense of satisfaction that I can't get from anything else. So
Only from the puzzle.
only the jigsaw is offering that satisfaction. For me, it's Morse code. Like
Oh,
any
yeah.
time I see dots and dashes, I'm immediately just thinking, oh, no, I'm gonna have to spend the next 45 minutes
What's the other
decoding this
one?
message.
Oh,
Okay, moving on to the next thing. We've got strengths and weaknesses. What are your strengths and weaknesses in an escape room?
an escape room. Okay, my strength is
Not
I've
just in
sadly got
general.
my husband with
Strengths,
me, and he's
deadlift.
really climbing. That is it.
Yeah. Super practical for escape
So
rooms.
I feel
First
like this is a
rule,
job
don't
interview
climb.
now. My strength is like I'm really organised, great spreadsheets.
Yeah, could I have your CV, please?
Oh, absolutely. No, my strength in escape rooms is I am a really good communicator. So if I see something, I'm really good to tell my team to go, there's a letter lock there, there's a number lock there, we need this for this. And just making sure if I've found something in the room that I'm telling the rest of the people I'm playing with, by the way, I think this is pretty important, or this looks like the next step, but I'm not sure. And making sure that I'm pulling in the team and we're all working together. I'm really good at that. So if I was to go and so I've done escape rooms, like you typically do them like double dates and stuff as well. I love
Yeah.
escape rooms for that reason. And to like involve like my best friend's boyfriend that I haven't really spoken to before, we've just been locked in a room together. Like to just be like, oh, you can do this puzzle if you want to come and help me, and I'll give them all the parts to it, just to make sure that they're involved. And when they've actually like kind of done the last little bit, because I've done the majority of the collecting and the majority of the making out, and to watch them solve a puzzle, oh my gosh, I love it.
Lights up
And
your
I'm
face.
just it really does. I'm quite a good team player,
That
unless
is that is quite
so
the opposite to me. I am not a good team player. I am very much a puzzle hog.
ah
But I'll communicate. Like I'll be like, by the way, I've got this. But like if
and I
nobody's
have to
paying
solve this
attention,
puzzle.
yeah, if nobody's paying attention and I've got a puzzle in front of us, I'm just gonna solve it to get through the room as fast as I can because I'm super competitive, more so than be. Or if there's something cool coming up, or if I'm suspecting that there's something cool coming up, before I'll solve a puzzle, I'll be like, "Yo, guys, gather around. I think something cool's gonna happen." So I
Yeah.
will still involve them in that way. I won't just like blitz through,
You'll
but
stop and go,
yeah, I very much enjoy just sort of getting my head down and cracking on, which is good in some respects, but definitely not in others. I feel like yeah,
what's your weakness? I'm guessing
communication's
that's
such
your
a big thing.
weakness. Yeah.
Is
What is
definitely
your
one of
weakness
my weaknesses. Yeah, is stealing all of the puzzles and enjoying them far too
then?
much. But communication's
Supporter.
huge. I think the amount of times I've been
Yeah.
in a room with like less experienced players or like friends that I've taken for the first time, and I've been like, "We're looking for a key. Has anybody seen a key?" Everybody's like, "Nope, no key." And like 45 minutes ago, they picked up a key and they put it in their pocket and then completely forgot about it. And at the back end of the game, they're like, "Oh, this key." And I'm like, "My goodness, yes, that key."
Yes, that one. That's the one we've been looking for 15 minutes. Come on.
Yeah. So communication is quite literally the key.
It absolutely is. Like, as a part of my brief, I'd feel like you guys need to talk to each other. Communication is the most important thing in this game. And occasionally you'd get like a first date or a couple that doesn't really need to speak to each other to like understand what each other are thinking.
Yeah.
And you'll, as a game operator, you kind of sat there.
Sat in silence.
What are you doing? I can see that you've got a puzzle in your hands, but what are you doing with it? And I think as running games, I also understand that they can hear me, they can see me, and to make sure they know where we're at makes their job so much easier as well.
Yeah, 100%.
When we stop and we need help with something, very clearly we are working on this puzzle because we've communicated what we're doing. We can stop and go, this is really hard. Can we have a clue? And it means that the game operator can give us that clue as soon as they possibly can. Like whether they're typing it out, whether they've already got preset clues ready to go. It just makes it easier. And they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. He's
you're not getting a clue. Sorry, where are you guys up to? Have you done this? Have you tried that puzzle? Have you done this lot? Yeah, super attentive.
And occasionally you can like catch game operators that aren't paying attention, and you're like, well, you've clearly been communicating what we're doing, what point we're up to.
But you're not watching, like, or you're operating 3 games at the same time.
Which it does happen, and do you know what? It's okay for a game operator to go, actually, I don't know what you're working on right now. And occasionally they'll just be like, we're doing this in the corner, and I'm like, that's not even a puzzle.
You are currently just solving my lunch that I accidentally left in there.
I mean, we've all done it. I've left laptops and all sorts inside a game and just gone, I'm just going to go do my last check before I get you locked in, and being like, oh, well, I'm glad I did that. I'll just take my laptop out.
My emails are in there. And I mean, if you want to sit and solve those, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah,
what would you say your weakness is then on the flip side of that?
I'm really good at escape rooms. I don't really have one.
Wow. Sorry, I can't fit in this escape room with your giant head.
My giant ego. God. Oh, occasionally I've just got to let everybody else do stuff. And I'll be like, oh, look at this fun stuff. Me and my friend Izzy were really good at distracting each other. And it upsets my husband greatly. To the point in an escape room that we did probably like 5 months ago now, there was like space guns, and me and Izzy were just running around like shooting each other with these space guns, of course. And while my husband was like actually working on this really long puzzle that I was like, that's too long, I'm bored of that. So
I'm just gonna go pew pew over in the corner.
So yeah, that's one of my weaknesses, is that I can get me and my best friend really distracted quite easily.
It's fair. I mean, some rooms are absolutely stunning, so you get distracted by like the architecture or like the set pieces, or they can introduce really cool props like you've just mentioned there, and you get immediately sidetracked. I have that problem a lot as well. I'm like, oh, this is really pretty. Oh, this would be cool in a different room. And then my brain starts wandering in that direction, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should solve the room that I'm currently in as opposed to trying to solve the room that I'm building in my brain. Not ideal.
What are your escape room top moments or escape room nightmares?
Well, the nightmare itself, I'm going to give as an example, goes back to the overthinking as my weakness. Because we got into a room recently, it was an absolutely stunning room. The first task was really, really simple. Like, you just had to put some things in order and then it would give you a code. And I was looking at it, I was looking at the differences between the numbers, I was trying to, like, multiply them, I was looking for patterns within the numbers. Had I have just gone, okay, this one's the biggest, this one's the smallest, we would have done it immediately. But 10 minutes into the room, we hadn't got through the first puzzle. And our GM didn't give us any hints because we specifically asked not for any hints. And we definitely shouldn't have bigged ourselves up going into that room because we looked like absolute fools in the first 10 minutes.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, not ideal. But once we got past that, we then smashed out the rest of the room in like 25 minutes. So we were 4 minutes behind the record time, and we'd spent 10 minutes on that first puzzle. So,
Okay.
as you can imagine, I was steaming when I came out of that room.
Like, how did it take us 10 minutes just to put that in an order
I
that's
know.
clearly marked?
Oh, my goodness, not okay. Do you have any particular top moments? These can obviously, coming from a game master perspective as well, these can be top moments for yourself or escape room nightmares for yourself, or they can be things that you've witnessed, because I feel like those kinds of stories are always fun as well.
Well, actually, as a game operator, I've witnessed some really lovely moments. Like, I've ran 2 engagement games, which was amazing. So I left my job in the escape room, and actually I got called back just to run an engagement game, which was
No way.
really lovely. I think I've seen 3 now, and only 1 divorce in that time.
Oh my goodness.
Engagement
Okay.
games are really lovely, really wholesome. I got engaged in an escape room,
No
and I
way.
don't think it could have gone any better. Yeah, oh, it was so lovely. It was
That's
in the
actually
Department of
adorable.
Magic in Edinburgh, and we were collecting like prophecies, and I was the last prophecy. And yeah, like
That's actually unreal.
I'm going to tell you my engagement story now.
Yeah, let's do it. 100%.
So we all the way through the day we'd been playing magic escape rooms. So the magic escape rooms in Edinburgh are just on a different level. So
Yeah.
you can either play as a good guy, you can play as a bad guy, you can do a wizardry game, you can even just do like a dragons and swords game. So we did loads of different magical games. And then the last one in the evening, didn't genuinely think I was going to be proposed to. we just went back to our hotel, got nicely dressed because we were going to go out for drinks a little bit later after we did all of our games for the day. But yeah, my now husband booked us into the Department of Magic, and it was. Yeah, we were collecting all the prophecies, and in the last sort of room, there was a drawer, and I opened it, and I was like, "Oh, there's a clue here. I'm just going to put this down here, and then I'll turn around." And he said, "Oh no, it's okay. You can open that." And actually, it was a little letter that was like, "To the woman I love,"
No
and all
way.
the cute mushy stuff. Helena, will you marry me? And I turned around, and he was on one knee.
No way.
And
That's so cool.
yeah, turns out we'd been planning it for ages. I just had
That's
no
actually
idea.
adorable. Hey, fair play to him, because that's a
Yeah,
big thing to plan, especially to then put into
smashed it.
an escape room and maintain the theme, and that's a lot of
Yeah,
thinking and planning on his part.
he did
So
a full day of like, he was like, I just wanted it to be so magical. And apparently, the whole day, anybody that we were like bumping into and having conversations, he was telling them, by the way, we're getting engaged tonight.
no
It's like
way.
when I was like,
You were
going to the
oblivious.
loo, like, yeah. He apparently told our best friends when we were out on a night out, and like had fully made all of this like plan, and I was just completely like, I had no idea. And yeah, engaged. Now I'm married to him very happily.
That is very
And now
cool.
I get called to run.
I had
escape
thought
room.
the other day, like on this like same front. I'm not currently in a relationship, but I thought as like a cool thing for an engagement, getting friends and family together for like a birthday, for like my birthday or whatever, and having them do multiple boxes that then opened one big box. I don't know if you've heard of 49 boxes. It's a very cool big escape thing. But imagine having everybody work together to solve this puzzle, and then in the last box is a ring for an engagement. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah.
Putting that on the
We've got all
back
bushy
burner.
now. We've got to take it out just in case you get in a relationship.
I know. Future girlfriend's just like, so I listened to your first podcast, and am I expecting this? I'm like, what?
You're rude. But yeah, I feel like getting engaged in an escape room was my choice.
Yeah, that definitely trumps me missing the obvious. So fair play.
Yeah.
We are definitely using that
Like,
cackle as the outro. Just a heads up.
oh no, it's like 2 pigeons fighting, isn't it?
Oh, I'm never gonna unhear that now.
Sorry.
There we go. There it is.
Just what a good chip.
Oh, my goodness. Do you have any escape room nightmare stories? Because I feel like working in an escape room, especially on that front, I feel like you've probably seen some less than fun things as well. Because obviously there's the getting engaged things, but I've heard horror stories of couples breaking up mid escape room and game operators not knowing what to do and just leaving them locked in there when they're arguing, but still solving puzzles to get out faster. I mean, this sounds like absolute carnage. So, is there anything on that front that you've witnessed over the years?
100%. So there used to be like a running joke in our office that I was like the bouncer. I came before I did escape rooms. I worked in a bar. Used to run functions and like weddings, events, things like that. So I didn't tolerate drunk people. And if someone was rude to me, if somebody was just disrespectful, I had people swearing at me, I'd just stop their game and tell them to leave, and like really just treat them like children. But I'm very happy to say there's like been maybe 3 points that I've had to stop games and go, you need to leave, which is really lovely considering I've done it for like 7 years.
Yeah, I was going to say over thousands in games. 3 is pretty good going.
Yeah, like when I was looking at my stats once I left, I was like, probably ran over 3,000 games, over 2 sites, over 3 games, and to have 3 out of potentially 3,000, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think pretty good going on statistics there.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair, the kind of crowd that escape rooms bring in tend not to be that kind of crowd, like boisterous or.
Yeah.
So I think
it's like the Saturday
pretty...
night crowd, we called them.
Yeah, had a few drinks, booked the 9 o'clock game, ready to go in, steaming.
Absolutely. It was when I first started there. Still pretty young. I was learning how to run a game with the owner of the business. And all of a sudden we heard, I can't believe you brought that up after all of this time.
Oh, no.
We both looked at each other. I was like, oh. And then one of them just left. And then left the other one inside of the game. And then the other one went out. And we just never heard of them again. So the game
didn't say goodbye or anything. They just up and left.
No, up and left.
No way.
And when I think about it now, I'm really grateful that they just up and left rather than having a full domestic in an escape room.
That is true. That's fair.
Yeah, that's one of my standout. Oh my god, this is happening. This is happening.
some major highs and major lows of operating an escape room.
Lows. Yeah, but as me personally, I don't think I've had any nightmares in escape rooms. Apart from accidentally unlocking locks early, which I am really bad for. 3-digit locks are way too easy to pick.
Yeah, brute forcing locks is you definitely shouldn't be doing that for one.
You shouldn't be, but sometimes it's so easy you can't help it.
I occasionally lean on maglock doors, and I'm a pretty big guy, so I occasionally fall through walls and doors by accident that have just been very loosely maglocked. I mean, I pulled one of your puzzles apart. That was a maglock in one of the rooms.
Which one? In the cage. Oh right, yes. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I pulled that down just thinking it was something to pull, and apparently it was magnetized.
Well, it was designed that way, so if we ever got our fingers stuck when we were resetting the game, that it wouldn't take our fingertips off. So some maglocks are stupid strong that you'd never be able to just pull them apart. I've written games that you can't pull apart. But with that, we really had to think about how much pressure it would have to suck a bit of metal up into a big electronic magnet. So yeah, you can pull it off. But sometimes people don't even realise that it's there
being all health and safety conscious.
It's got an emergency stop button and everything. When you build escape rooms, you don't really think about this stuff. You've got to have an emergency exit button, emergency stop buttons. If you've got stuff that general public and also just people resetting your game are able to escape quickly, get out of a situation, hurt themselves. The amount of risk assessments I have done about potentially people hitting their heads, scraping their knees. If they back into this wall, it's got some ridges in it because it's a 600-year-old wall.
Can't really just
People
rip
might
down
try
that
to
castle
climb
wall because
it.
it's a hazard.
Yeah, like you've really got to think about these things when you're building in a game or even just doing risk assessments for them. That's where your health and safety comes from before you even start the game. This is your emergency exit button. Anything tipped off red is not a part of the game. Cameras, wires, mics, fixtures, fittings. I can do it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recognize that spiel.
I can do the whole thing right now. No, I haven't done it for 5 months now, and I can still probably just do a full intro.
Yeah, I still know the full safety briefing video from a trampoline park I worked in when I was 18. Just because it was that ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
With
Like,
like
I
the
could do
voices
it,
and
like,
everything.
oh wow, with the sound effects and
Yep.
and getting into character. Oh, absolutely. It's when you know you can do it with a really horrific hangover. It's when you know you've got it down.
I will not admit to ever having done that. But you just
No,
incriminated yourself.
me either.
Hypothetically speaking.
Even like I hadn't done a game in ages. Hadn't run a game. Going back for one engagement game, I was like, yeah, I don't even have to look at the. So we've got like Bibles, that all the stuff, everything to do with that escape room is written in one place. Everything, every puzzle, every clue you can put through, how everything functions, and all of that. Everything's written down. And I didn't even have to look at it to go, this is the intro to this game. Just was like, done.
Rattled it off the top of the dome.
Get locked in. Yeah.
I do love an escape room company that takes those talks and spins it in their own way. Because I mean, as you know, as a seasoned veteran of escape room games, it is awful hearing the same spiel over and over again about don't jump out this window, don't put your finger in this plug socket, don't touch this, don't touch that. So if somebody can really take that and make it part of the game even cooler, or if they can just, add a bit of humor or mix it up a little bit, it definitely adds to the experience.
Mine was don't swing from our chandeliers like Tarzan, lick your fingers and put them in plug sockets. They are not part of the game.
Man, those
like
licky finger plug socket puzzles catching people out.
Dangerous.
I think licky finger plug socket puzzle is definitely the best place to end episode 1 of the ESCAPUZZLED podcast.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think we can go much further than that. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I feel like I've learned a lot about you. Hopefully you've learned a bit about me, and hopefully the listeners have also learned about both of us and how weird we really are when we get talking.
Weird, aren't we? Sorry.
Yep.
Well, hopefully you join us for some more giggles and some more escape room nerding out with us. So hopefully we'll be able to get some escape rooms involved with what we're doing. So I'm going to go back to my old boss and potentially get an interview with him, which is really lovely.
Yeah. I would love to certainly get more people on the podcast from an expertise background, whether it's owners or builders or creatives or anything puzzle related or escape room related. Would love to get some people on. So if you have any suggestions as listeners, or if you are listening and you are an owner, especially if you're in the UK, hit us up, let us know. We'd love to, one, come play your games if we haven't already, because we love playing games, and two, we'd love to have you on the podcast to talk all things escape rooms.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.